Hello, today I will start with the type conversion and the type casting in Python. In type conversion, when we need to convert a data type of a variable into another data type, we use type conversion. Suppose we want to convert an integer variable into a floating variable, then we use type conversion. Type conversion is divided into two parts, type conversion and another one is type casting. In type conversion, compiler automatically convert the data type of a variable into their specific type. We do not need to declare the data type of a variable. Suppose a is a integer value 4 and b is a integer value 8. B is a floating value 8.9, and sum is used to calculate the addition of these two numbers a and b, of these two variables a and b. And if I print the sum, then it automatically gives a floating value, so we do not need to declare any data type for this sum variable. The compiler automatically converts the value into float. So this is called the type conversion. And the type casting is when we need to convert desperately data type of a variable into another data type. Then we use type casting. Suppose a equal to 4, a is an integer variable, and b equal to 9, but 9 is a string variable because it is quote, written within a double quotes. So Python considered as a string variable 9. And if I want to calculate the sum of these two variables a and b, then it will give an error because the string variable is not possible to concat with a integer variable, so it will give an error. In this situation, we need to learn about typecasting. The b variable, if I want to convert this b variable into floating value, then we simply write float, and inside the parenthesis we write the value which I need to convert into float. So if I write this thing, if I calculate the sum of these two variables, it will not give any error. And if I want to convert this variable into integer, then simply I write int, and inside the parenthesis I write the value. So this is the thing, this is the typecasting. For example, in type conversion, if I write a equal to 4 and b equal to 5.7 and sum equal to a plus b, and if I print sum, then it will give a floating value. A is the integer variable, b is the floating variable, and sum is calculating the sum of these two variables. So the compiler is automatically convert the sum data type. So this is called a type conversion. In type conversion, we do not need to declare any data type. Compiler automatically convert the data type of variable. So this is called a type conversion. And if I want that a is a string variable, 4 is the number, but this is considered as a string variable in Python because in Python we use double quotes for a string variable. So if I run this code, then it will give me an error because the string variable is not possible to concat with a floating variable. So if I want to convert this string variable into integer, then simply I write int, and inside the parenthesis we write the value which I want to convert into integer. So this is called the type casting. And if I run this code, then it will not show an error. And if I want to convert this value into float, then simply I write float, and inside the parenthesis I write the value which I convert into float. So this is called the typecast, in which we can desperately convert a data type of a variable into another data type. Okay. Input in Python. Input statement is used to accept values using keyboard from user. Until now, we learned that how to declare a variable in Python, but when we need to accept some values from the user using keyboard, then we use the input statement. Input statement is used to accept values using keyboard from user. Input statement always returns a string value by default. When we need to accept some integer value or floating value from the user, then we write int input or the float input. So it will returns a string value. It will returns a integer value. Sorry, it will returns a integer value, and it will returns a floating value. For example, if I write input enter your name and assign it to the name variable, and if I print this name variable, then if I enter a name Priya, and this will be Priya. So this is the input variable, and if I uh, take any integer value and if I write type of age, then if I run this code enter age, 45. Then the type of this 45 is string. So input function by default is returns a string value. So the number, the integer number is also considered as a string in input statement. So if I need to declare a integer value in input statement, then we write this int and inside the parenthesis the input statement. So it will not give the string value, it will give a integer value. So if I write 45, then the string, then the data type of this input is integer. And if I want to take a floating value, then I simply write float and inside the parenthesis the input set. Val variable and it's also val. Sorry, one second. 6.78. This is the data type float. So this is the input statement, and if I write name equal to input, enter your name, age equal to input, enter your age, and marks equal to input, enter your marks, and simply I write print name, name, print age, print marks. If I run this program, sorry, if I run this program, then Priya, age is 19 and marks is 7.89. Then name Priya, age 19, marks 67.89. It will not give any error, but if I print the type of age and if I print the type of marks, then sorry, Priya 56 78.90. Then the age is a string data type and marks is a string data type, but this is not actually. The age is an integer value and the marks is a floating value. So in this case, we write the int and float. And if I want to print the type of age and the type of marks, then it will then Priya 45 78.6. Then this is the integer value age and this is the floating value marks. So if I this question is take two numbers from the user and calculate the multiplication of these two numbers from the user a equal to int input enter first number b equal to int input enter second number, and then the third variable c, and if I need to perform a multiply operation of these two variables a and b, then simply I write c equal to a into b and print multiply of these two numbers multiplication of two numbers is c. So if I run this code, enter first number 5, enter second number 7, then 35 is the multiplication of these two numbers.